Alrighty. So, happy Wednesday, and welcome to Live on the Paper Trail. Today we are going to be working on the holiday village that was actually started last year. But right about this time last year, I was actually in New Hampshire, and I left on the 14th of November to drive across the country. I drove his car back across the country all by myself. That was actually, I thoroughly enjoyed doing that. I lucked out. I didn't have any bad weather or anything along the way, and I made it in 4 days. So a year ago, I was back in New Hampshire. As I said, I loaded the car. I basically packed his apartment into his little Jetta. Fortunately, he was in a furnished apartment, so it was just, his clothes, and he'd already brought all of his gear, his hockey gear back, but I was hauling all of his clothes, kitchen stuff, all of that. That car was packed, but I packed it for the most part. The big parts on the 13th, the night of the 13th, and then it snowed like 8 inches that night, and so I had to finish packing the car in the snow. So that was fun, but it melted by the time I left town, and I had a delightful trip across the country, but it did interrupt this project, and it ended up that I just decided, let's just wait and hold off on it till this year. It is done with my digital papers. There's 2 different paper collections. I will show both of those once I switch the camera and that. So there's a traditional one that's in reds and greens with neutrals, and much more just the classic Christmas look. And then there is a bright version that again has the reds and greens, but it also has some bright yellows, some brighter greens, some pinks, some oranges, all brighter colors, but in that grungy kind of flavor. So with each of the paper collections, there's also window options. Excuse me. They both have the same window options because they work with both collections, but there's like 8, I think there's 8 different options that you can mix and match for the 5 houses. So each of the paper collections has 18 papers, which you could use on a myriad of other Christmas projects as well. They're kind of solid. There's not a lot of floral or embellishment on them. They are solid toned. They are matchbox style houses, and you'll see just in a few minutes. And they have a lower kind of shadow box area to do some decorating in. And that's what we're going to be working on today, is the shadow box areas of 2 and 3, and I'm going to be doing some added to number 1 that we did last year. There is over in the paid tutorials, for those who've already purchased this tutorial, the assembly for the number 1 house is already up, and tomorrow I should have the video up that will show the assembly of the other 4 houses as well. The supply list and cutting guide is already up and available for the remaining 4 houses, and both of the paper collections are up and available. So if you purchased either the tutorial and or either of the paper collections, they should be in your account. If you don't see them there and you purchased that, pop me an email, and I will make sure that it does get added in. But I'll be showing you both paper collections, and I will also be showing you the houses that we're going to be doing. We are going to be doing houses 4 and 5 next Wednesday on Paper Trail Live, so that you can see how those 2 get together. And so the village will be done before Thanksgiving. So yay! So yet another project off the list of projects that I've been behind on, and so this will get this one ahead. I have potentially one, maybe two Christmas projects. Not ready to show just yet because, like I said, I don't want to show them until I have them ready to go, just because that causes me heartburn and difficulties. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get both of them done. One is more wintry and one is more Christmassy, so I don't want to take away from some other projects in order to do those. So but I do know people are going to want some sort of a Christmas project, but it's already the middle of November. I swear last night feels like it was Halloween, so I'm just like, so Joy is trying to put up the link to she got the second link that I can start showing you what the paper collections look like, and then we'll go ahead and get rolling on the houses. I'm really annoyed by I have different glasses on. These are my backup pair of glasses. I don't like them at all. But I have to get a new nose piece. The little rubber nose piece thing came off on my main glasses. So all right, let me just show you real quick this is the first of the houses. This is the one that we did last year. They all have kind of a box section up in the top, which you can also paper the insides since these lids come off. And inside those you can put some little treats or that sort of thing. And then down here in this shadow box section is a place where you could hang an ornament. Here I used one of these little picks and I made a little poinsettia. I haven't so I can take it out right now in case I decided I wanted to change it from what I have in there to go with the other houses. Here's some of the little windows with the little shutters, but they're all kind of tall, skinny houses. So this is house number 1. And then house number 2, which we're going to work on today, this is done in the brighter collection. And this one has a little shed roof that flips up, and I'm going to be covering the inside of the roof there. And it's got some cute little windows there as well. And then the shadow box area that we're going to be then covering. So hang on, I need to message pop up. To remove, there we go. Joy says chocolate in the houses, so but as I said, they all have a little box that up in the upper part. And then house number 3, which I still have to I was frantically trying to get it papered, and it's going to have these 2 little windows. As soon as I get those cut out, those windows will go on there, and this, like the number 1, just lifts right off. So that's house number 3. And then let's see, 4 and 5 are still in pieces. So house number 4 is a little bit wider with the roof on it, and then the box that goes below. So that's house number 4. And then house number 5 has more of a flat barn style roof and a longer, narrower section. So that's house number 5. So that's the 5 different houses, and they vary in height. You could also use these if you wanted to just make individual houses. These would be great for a small gift. So you could use them as a gift box even to give that. Or if you're going to visit people, it makes a cute hostess gift to put, some little goodies up in the top. And so that, or you can set them up as the village. As I noted, both of the how the paper collections have the window options. So there's 8 different window options on here. in the warm tones and the green cooler tones to go with either one. So then I have, this one wasn't cut up. So then we have the traditional collection. And these aren't in any particular order. A lighter kind of seafoamy green, an olive green, a dark red, a dark green, and then the cut aparts on this one are kind of vintage, traditional vintage look. There's some angels and some holly and a bird just for Joy. I don't want Joy to feel left out since I do blues for, so I have a bird and a little nest that I'll probably use on one of them. Here's a variety of vintage Santas. There's 6 of them. And then on this one, some Christmas trees. Oh, there's another green that got left, sorry, before those. So, and then we've got a horse and a church, some Christmas trees, and a Christmas stocking. So, and that's with the traditional. So there's 18 different of the pattern papers. There's 3 sheets of cut aparts and 8 window styles over 2 different sheets. So that's the traditional. Then the bright version, and that's what this house is done in, is the bright version. And actually, to a certain extent, since they're both kind of on the leaning towards grungy, you could kind of mix and match. Christine, I'm sorry that you missed that first part. This is the Holiday Village that we started last year. We only got the first house done last year, and now the remaining 4 houses. I have the paper collections done, so if you ordered the traditional or you ordered the bright, both of those collections are complete and in your account, as well as the cutting and supply list. Tomorrow, the video for the assembly of the 4 remaining houses should be available in underpaid tutorials. All we're going to be doing today is working on the shadow box portion of these, for those of you who did come in late. So if you've already ordered the Holiday Village tutorial, the traditional paper and or the bright paper, those should be in your account. I put those up about 3 days ago, but I didn't make an announcement yet. But the paper collections are done, and the supply list and cutting guides are completed. I ended up this time last year, I had to go back to New Hampshire to clean out Trevor's apartment back there and drive his car back. And then just with life impacting with him coming back, I was not able to get those completed before Christmas. So I just elected to just hold off on it till this year. And so this is the village being completed this year. So hopefully that answers your question. So these are the digital paper packs that go along with the house, or you can use them on other collections. The first one was the traditional, and then this one is the bright one. So we have a green with red stripes. Here's an orange and violet, a red and white check, a bright green and green chevron, a pink with red. This is two-tone gray polka dot, a kind of yellow, orange, and black stripe, a teal crackle, aqua snow, a red harlequin. There's some pink snow, and then a diamond check in gray and black, a bright green and green polka dot, a bright green and cream polka dot, a candy cane stripe in green and red, a red check, a yellow and orange chevron, and an aqua and white stripe. And then the cut apart sheets for this are a little bit more fun and whimsical type of characters. So there's like a Santa. There's some birds in here for you, Joy. On a bear and some presents. Another Santa and a tree. And then there's on the wider barn-like one, I want to have the sleigh with the reindeer, a little fox, a little snowman there. And then we got another little fox and a couple of penguins, some snow globes, a couple of reindeer, some more trees, another bird, so that you can mix and match these to put down in the lower sections. So and I think you could mix and match to a certain extent with these. Also, they just would be fun for some other holiday stuff. I'm going to be doing, for the most part this year, most of my Christmas stuff is going to be quick and fast projects. I'm not going to commit to saying I'm going to do 12 projects of Christmas like I did millions of years ago, but I'm certainly going to try to do as many as I can, but projects that are like that. So you have, as I said, you have the bright and you have the traditional, and certain papers within it could mix and match between the two. But as I said, both collections have 18 of the pattern papers, and they're relatively background kind of pattern papers. They're not, there's no florals that are kind of, putting the direction one way or the other. So, both have 3 sheets of the cut apart sheets, and they both have the 2 sheets of the windows. Now the windows on both collections are the same because they work. These 2 are done in their traditional, and I still have to get the windows put on this one. Done in the traditional, and this one's done in the bright. So when they're constructed, you can come with the red stripe. And then I just cut some little accent strips out of this. And then these kind of have a little kind of a Edelweiss type of house windows that I went ahead and put on there. So now I didn't a little box area that you can put goodies and stuff in. And then the little roof one goes on top. But this matchbox area you can turn into a little shadow box. If you don't want it as deep as it is, you could obviously narrow it down by putting a ledger of construction strips and then putting a false back in it so it wasn't so deep if you didn't want it as deep. You could also put a little ring, the little screw eyes into the top so that you could hang. I think these would be cute with little ornaments hanging inside of them. All sorts of stuff that you could do down into this the little box area. I want to really quick, just because so I don't lose these. I'm going to go ahead and cut these windows out and get those attached so that house then is ready to embellish, and then we'll go ahead and get house number 2 embellished. And I want to see what these windows look like on here before we switch gears. So a little bit of fussy cutting. Now I cut the windows right on the line of the image, and as you'll see when I'm cutting out the elements, I'm going to do them kind of like when you get a package of die cuts, how they have some of the background space around them. If you want to cut right out on the line, you can. I just think it works great for the windows, but I think for the elements below, cutting them out as if they were like when you get die cuts from say like Kaisercraft or something, or Bo Bunny, all of those that have the die cuts, they always have that space around them. And they're not complicated to cut out, so don't panic if you're like, oh, I don't like to do fussy cutting. They're really quite simple to cut out because you don't have to cut around every little detail on the elements. Now I do cut out, and I cut these relatively simple, as you can see from when I'm cutting this out. And you know, dead on perfect cutting is not an absolute. Obviously, careful cutting is good. But a little bit of ink, anything that's white that's still showing, will cover that up. And you'll never know I didn't cut it dead on perfect. And also, if cutting around those little things is difficult, cut it straight across. Nobody will be the wiser. I was trying to get this house done right before we started the show, but I had to stop, and I couldn't get the windows cut out in time, so I'm just wanted to get the windows cut out and glued on real quick, and then we'll work on the other house. Oops, I have to wait too much. Most of the little openings aren't quite big enough for a TP Mini. You'd have to really cut your toilet paper rolls in half. You could do some tiny little minis in there, but I don't know that a toilet... I would probably be more inclined to use some small envelopes myself, but I don't know. I was never really into the toilet paper roll minis. I don't know if it's the branded toilet paper we use or not, but it always has toilet paper still left on the rolls. They never come off totally clean. But, you know, this is pretty small. It's like 2 inches by like 3.5 inches. So, by about 2.5, 3 inches. So, there, I mean, this one's pretty tiny. So, but obviously, you could, you know, it's your house. You can do whatever you want with it. So, now it looks better with the windows on it. Alrighty, so let's go back then. That's house number 3. So let's go back to house number 2 in reference to that. So for the instance, this one is 3 3/4 inches tall. It's about almost 2 inches deep. But you know, you've got to stay below this angled roof. So the amount of area you've got is really kind of tiny. Because I was envisioning more for like, you know, candies and that sort of thing, but or small gift type items. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to use this Happy Santa, the little Christmas tree that's got presents under it, and another little set of presents. And so, as I said, I cut that straight on the presents, but I'm going to allow about a 1/16 of an inch up to an 1/8 of an inch around cutting this out, and do it as simple or as intricate as you feel comfortable with. So if you want to keep it real basic and not kind of go around some things, that's totally fine. I have one of the pet beds underneath my desk, as I've had for millions of years now. This is, you know, a fresh new one, but now I have Tigger, who has decided that that's his spot. And it was so funny the other day. I was like going, okay, this is shades of my dogs, because I could hear this snoring. I mean, it was soft. It wasn't like the dogs. But Tigger was underneath my desk snoring. It was like, why do I always seem to have a dog or a cat now under my bed snoring? Or under my desk, I mean, snoring. So it was so cute. He and Salem will now snuggle up and sleep. Now, Tigger's a big boy. It's a good thing Salem's pretty small because Tigger takes up that bed, but they both manage to squeeze themselves in there. It's pretty funny. And Salem will kind of lay next to the bed too, and Tigger will reach out, grab him, haul him up, and wash his face. And Patches will also give him a bath, so they must think he needs a bath most of the time. It's pretty funny. Okay, so there's the Christmas tree. Now I think I might take a craft knife. No, you only have to do this if you're comfortable with your craft knife. I know Lois would not be doing this one because her craft knife is in constant timeout in the corner. So I cut that little section out there. So there's the little Christmas tree. Let's see if I change the light so it's not quite so bright. A little warmer. Yeah, that one looks about the best. Back that up a little bit so it's not quite such a bright spot. Alright, so I'm going to just trim him pretty close to the bottom of his feet. And cut this out. So again, I'm just cutting this out about a 1/16 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch, depending on how comfortable you are. But then you don't have to be dead on perfect cutting it super close. So that gives us our little goodies that we're going to put down inside. I think I want to cut out right around his hat and the little pom-pom. Yeah, Diana, it's really me. You seem surprised. I'm not sure why. I've been on YouTube Live for year and a half now? Would you say, Joy? And then I've had a lot of people going, "Oh, I'm so glad you're back," and I'm like, I never went anywhere. I just wasn't doing much on YouTube. I had gotten kind of fed up with all of the negativity that YouTube brought about. And so I just was on streaming on Ustream and places like that. So and then I just, all of my videos from the past many years are just over on my website rather than here on YouTube. Though the most recent stuff has been here on YouTube. Or I'm having stuff live on YouTube again. I guess it's more of my stuff has been, even though I've done it on YouTube, has been over on my website. But I still have all of my videos for all my projects over there, all for free viewing. Other than the ones that are video tutorials that you purchase. Everything's free to view over there. Now I'm just touching this lightly with some ink. But yes, if you go to my website, lauradenisondesigns.com, you can go to the archives and all of my videos are there. But I've just decided to start having some of them post here on YouTube as well. So anyway. Ustream is still there, but Ustream reached a point where they charged you. And with the viewership that I had, it was going to cost me about $1,000 a month to stream on Ustream. So when YouTube Live went into effect, I was really early on in doing the YouTube Live streaming, and it works great. But I've been here, been doing it 10 years now. All right, so in here now, I'm going to have my little Christmas tree. Whether or not I'm going to attach it to the back is probably not. I'll have it standing out. And then some little presents that are in the front of it too. And then I'm going to have my little Santa attaching right in here. Now, you can keep it simple with just this kind of stuff in there. And just have it in different layers. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of step him out. Now, I can use little construction strips to kind of hold them in place. I'm thinking I might do that, have it at an angle and have it touches up against the side. Then I can have a little glue, a spot of glue right there. If you wanted to add other things in there as well, you can. As I talked about on this one, I used just these little holiday picks that you can get for a couple bucks at the big box stores. And then this is a die cut poinsettia. I think that's Tim Holtz die that we cut, and then I've attached that in. I'm going to add an element too from the cut aparts to this one too after we finish up these guys. So I am going to use some little scrap pieces of some construction strips to attach this down on the base. I'm going to have the Santa down in front of the tree, but you could add a little Santa, or even actually one of the little reindeers would be cute too up on the roof. You can, use these however you see fit. This guy is a little big to go on this roof. I want to use this on one of the other ones. But there's also these little reindeers, and you could put, one or more of them up on the roof, or you could add one of the snow globes up there if you wanted to. Or even one of the little birds up on the roof. But that's the beauty of these things, is you can mix and match and play with them however you want. So it's a great way to use up your scrap little pieces of construction strips too. So I'm hooking those on so that it creates a little ledger for it to set on. I gotta stand this up so I can place it in there. So I've attached it in there, and then I have it so we can just touch onto the side so that I can put a spot of glue there just to hold it into the placement. Well, that's a big old spot, Sarah. I'm so used to saying something to my daughter. Speaking to myself here. Okay, so that's there in that corner. So I'll stand that up. So put one of these guys on here. So again, a little construction strip. And I'm putting it even further outside on the front, so that then I can put another little dabble doodle of glue right there. And then Santa's going to be standing right there. And I think I'm going to do it so his feet are glued down, because those are little tiny feet to be putting putting the construction strips, but you know, glue dries clear. So then I can put a touch of glue right here, and right here where his belly is. Just hold them there for a second, let it dry. I think I will cut out one of the little birds, put him up on the roof. Let's stand this up so he dries in place, because he keeps trying to slide backwards. Okay, Santa, dry for a sec. I'll let him dry for a second while I cut out a bird, and then I can show you a bit better. Let's see what I haven't cut out already. Cut out a couple of the. Oh, let's take the little birdie with the bell, and then I'll take one of these little pieces here, this little holly guy too. Put it up there. I made sure there were plenty of birds. Just for joy, because I know she was feeling like, oh, teacher's pet is Lois, because I'm always doing blue for her. So I wanted to do some birds just for joy. Take this little bit of holly. Okay, I think Santa's dry enough so we can lay him down. I'm going to do him in a little bit of an angle so that I'm just going to pop a little blob of glue right there. I think sitting there. do have this down in this little corner. So that makes for just some little cute little stuff up on the roof. And then down here below we've got Santa with the Christmas tree and the ornaments. And unfortunately the color is getting really washed out in the light. So that's number 2. I'll take some photos and put these up in the on Paper Doodles and on my website as well, so that people will be able to see them a little bit better. Oops. Get my glue to dry there for a second. Now I'm going to take, and with this guy, this number 1, I want to add in, I think I'm going to leave what I have under there, but I'm going to add the bell to it. So go ahead and again, with all the detail to the holly and stuff, I'm just keeping my cuts around it fairly simplified and not getting really super detailed. You can do as detailed as you want. So you can see what I mean by leaving it, even though the edge of the thing is very detailed, you can then see it. The color's not getting as washed out on the actual YouTube screen. I keep looking at my broadcasting screen and it gets a lot more washed out on that, so I'm glad that the color is not washing out as badly as I thought it was. So I'm going to have this kind of being up from the top. But then you can see that if you wanted to do it with other Christmas paper, if you're not comfortable with the digital paper, you could totally do this with some Christmas die cuts, and or getting things like this little guy here. So I'm going to fold this back, this top of this back, and form a little tab that I can stick up above. Actually, I think I'm going to use a piece of store tape so I can attach it quickly. You could absolutely print out, the beauty of the digital, as Joyce says, is you could totally print out more than one sheet and layer these. For instance, just seeing this guy, I could see layering on this Santa's face. You could cut the face out and use some little foam dots, or maybe leave his face there but just cut out his beard and pop that forward to give it some dimension. Maybe one of you can do a layering of the presents to give them some dimension as well. So that's a really good idea, Joy. I can take and pop the bells up on the roof up inside there, so then the bell hangs down from the top, so I can leave all those other things in there. I can leave that in there unless I decide that, oh wait, if I only have it in one of them maybe I need more of them. But I could also put some more of this kind of winter greenery stuff on all of them with this traditional one, and it would fill up some of the space. So you can see how that takes up more space than, say, just the paper cutout things. So, but I like the paper cutout ones on the kind of whimsical version. So, all right. So now we got, this is going way faster than I was expecting. So, so then we've got this this last one. So now we can pick out what we want for it. Now, I'm going to do the bird and the eggs on one of them that's a little bit larger area. Oh, and I still have to put some of the trim on this one, so that we'll do that. So I can do one of the little angels. I can pick out one of the Santas. Since I kind of have this icy blue here, maybe doing like this Santa or maybe this green Santa would look really, really cute in there. There's also the Christmas tree. The other thing you could add onto something like this is I know places like at Hobby Lobby has some of the little miniature ornaments and little miniature presents, and that would be fun to put like this tree into the background, and then you could put some little presents and stuff out in front of the tree, and that would be really cute to do as well. Before we go ahead and cut out stuff for this, I want to go ahead and put the trim on. Like I said, I was racing to get this all covered. So I've got the trim going here. I want to put some trim around here, and I cheat here on this front edge because the paper doesn't quite go all the way if I leave it all one sheet and fold it, so that way I can just add this little accent trim on the inside. So let's do that first. I am so not mentally ready for it to be Christmas. I don't know how many of you guys are. I swear, I'm kind of mentally ready for it to be like Labor Day. Oh, I want to take these houses. I also think they could make very cute during non-holidays. You could turn them into cute little fairy houses and stuff too. I want to sit there and mix media, do all sorts of stuff to make them into fairy houses. I think that would be tons of fun, kind of like what we did with that reverse canvas. You know, have a bunch of the foliage and stuff like that. And as I said, some of them, like this one's a lot deeper. So if you didn't want all that depth, you could put a false back in it so that it doesn't have quite as much depth to it. But I wanted to have some of them having that deeper in case people wanted to go ahead and put the screw eye in here and hang ornaments down inside, because I think hanging ornaments inside of these is also a really fun idea. Yeah, I just think this would be fun to make into a cute little winter village for fairies. So for those of you who don't do Christmas, and then it could be out, you know, in the winter. You could do spring ones for the fairies as well. You can add, Tim Holtz has got the icicles. There's so many things that you could add to these. I'm just showing them how you can do simple and basic. I tend to, with the stuff that I show you, I tend to like to think of it as kind of a place, as kind of a launching place for all of you, then that you can then take it, keep it as simple as what I've shown you, and it still works awesome. Or you can take it and run with it and add your own touches, embellishments, that sort of thing. If people want to add like snow and things like that to these, absolutely 100% you can do that. And I'm just giving you the basic level is what I show you here. And as always with all of my projects, I love seeing how people take and run with it and take it further, because I don't always want to take it to that next level in what I'm showing you. because then that can be very intimidating for people who maybe are just new to paper crafting, or they just don't have the time, or it's just kind of intimidating to them to take it to that next level. So by doing just a real simple basic version like I'm doing, I'm not putting enough glue on there, it's less intimidating for people. So and you can see how it makes a very cute, very successful project even without all the embellishment. But those of you who want to take it to that next level absolutely can. So there I covered over those edges and given it that little extra trim. So I'm going to then take that and do that at the bottom, around the bottom edge as well. Fold that. These are all done with lightweight chipboard. All the dimensioning for everything is on the supply list and cutting guide for those who decide that you want this tutorial. If I weren't working on some other projects, I would totally do a mixed media set of these to show you. I don't want to take away from other projects that I've got underway, take the time away, and it would take a couple days at least for me to do all 5 of them, but I might try to do at least one. So we shall see. Or maybe that's something that we can do in the future. Do a fairy version of it in the future. Maybe after. I want to try to get the Christmas stuff, holiday stuff done as soon as I can. Before the end of November at the very least. And then we could potentially do something like that if we do it as a winter fairy stuff. But I also have some other mixed media stuff coming up, so. Oh yeah, there's all sorts, you can use all those edge punches. There's die cuts that you can use. Oh, there's so many things that you can use. I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to need more. I'm going to need another one, but I just want to get it to where it covers over the front part at least. These are, I'm notorious with something like this, is I don't finish off the back always completely, because they're going to sit out on the mantle. So like this one, there's a strip down the back. I should go back and finish all those, but there's this strip down the back, not quite done. Is that done? Yeah, you don't even have to use the holiday greenery dyes. You can use any of. For those of you who had that long strip of the first greenery one, where he did the thinlits thing or they weren't thinlits. What were they called? They had the foam on them. He's now taken that one dye, that's got like the ivy and some of this stuff. This greenery to where it's now individual little dyes, which is great because then you can clump them together so it's not in that big long strip. So you could do all sorts of greenery stuff on it. So, but see, now you're getting me all excited and I want to do one of those. Because I've been picturing that in my head this whole time. I have too many ideas and not enough time to do all the ideas that I have. And of course, all of the Christmas ideas always come up about this time of the year. And it's like, oh, nuts. I just don't have enough time to do them all. Yeah, see, I need an extra little strip there. So anyway, so that gives me that little, and I'm trying to be consistent. So on this one, I did the little, I cut from the little check. So it goes around here, I did it around the top there, so I'll probably end up doing it around the top of this one as well. So I just need to edit again, still up on that little, but just adding that little trim and being consistent. On this one, I did it as well with the green from the sky. I want to probably put something along right there, so it's underneath the eave of that, because there seems to be a little bit of space up here, and maybe I'll use an edge punch on that sort of thing. So you can make these as simple, just covering with the pattern paper. And then hanging an ornament in there would be the simplest version, or you can get as complicated as you want to get with them. So yeah, and he's on straight. And he's like, why is that on there quick? Okay, so with this guy, now we just have to decide what guys we want in there. I like this Christmas tree guy in the back. And then it's like, do I want one of the Santas on the front? Kind of like I did with the, since I haven't done a Santa with a Christmas tree on this version yet, right now I just have the bells. I think one of the darker ones actually looks better. Maybe we do this one because he's got all sorts of presents and stuff. Well, this one does too. With this Christmas tree, I think I like that better. I think the little angels, I want to put these guys together underneath one of the houses, and with this being in that lighter tone, and I think I like the idea of the little bit richer tones down below. So, and I think I like the bigger Christmas tree, so I'm going to cut out this Christmas tree. I think I like the red ones. Okay, do I want this Santa or this Santa? I think I like this guy. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a quandary. This one project that I'm working on, it could either be a house or it could be this other thing that I'm thinking of doing with it, and I can't decide which I want to do with it. So I'm in a quandary. Okay, I'm going to cut this straight across so that I can set it in there with a construction strip. So like so, and I'll start out about there. So would you guys, is it too late for a big Christmas project? Would you rather I just turn it into a winter project, or would you like it as a Christmas project if it's not massive amounts of work to do, if I can have it done before Thanksgiving? And it can be either electronic, because it'll have paper that goes with it. It can either be electronically delivered, or I will do extremely small, limited number of kits for it. So and it is a house that doesn't have to be Christmas. It could be done non-Christmas. I have an idea where it could either be a house, or I also have an idea of, my Christmas lantern from 2 years ago, of doing something with that lantern, and I can create it so that you can have an album in it as well. It's whether, I want to do it as the lantern or as a house, and I'm debating. I do have a new series of fairy houses coming up. Once we have some of the other stuff completed that I want to get rolling on. So. So if it was more wintry and less Christmas, you like the idea of that? The fairy series are more, it's more of a woodland fairies. The original fairy series, the winter, spring, summer, fall one, that was a garden series. Whereas this is more fairies out in the woodlands. And they're intended, I'm calling it wee hours. Because it's more set of, I just remember last time Sarah and I went to New York, which I just, last time was a year ago, but when Sarah and I went that one time, and we were out right at that kind of twilight, end of the day, it's just starting to get dark, and the fireflies were coming out. And I just keep remembering that it's a very magical time of the day when it's not quite daylight, but it's not dark yet either. It's kind of the wee hours is why I'm using wee hours. It's kind of that time just before it gets dark, or just as it's starting to get light. It's really kind of that magical light, whether at night or in the evening or in the early morning. So that's kind of where these houses, so it's called, the wee hours series. So it's just, I have a list of, I think, 5 of them. So hopefully during 2020, which I cannot believe it's 2020. Okay, so I'm going to have it leaning kind of this way with this guy on it right here. But I could see this would also be cute to have some of those little presents. I might have to run downstairs to see. I know I have some of those. And if you're finding this is curling, depending on the weight of your cardstock, you can also put a little piece of the lightweight chipboard on the back just to give it some flatness. Okay, well, I think that makes it real easy. I definitely know the direction I'm going to go with that, whether it's the house or the lantern. And then I have one other potentially Christmas project, but that one I can do a lot quicker. So, but I already have a Christmas paper started, so I need to use that. But the one is much more of a wintry, less Christmas, more wintry kind of paper. So, all right, so I've got the tree kind of set into the corner. Just like I did on the other one, I've got a little edge that's going to stabilize it to keep it from going too far. Just drop glue on there, set it up against the wall. So it's set like so. While he's walking along on some snow here, it kind of matches with the color, especially if I ink it up a little bit. It kind of matches with the color of the inside of this one. And now if you find, since he's not going to be anchored to anything, so if you find he's needing a little bit of an anchoring, what you can do is out of some of the lightweight chipboard, piece of it, you can take and cut a triangle that's got a 90-degree corner, and so this will glue to the back of my Santa, and this will glue down to the base, and so that way he will stand up straight, and this won't show, so touch it right. So see how I've attached it to the back of him? Okay, well, we know Christine wants a wintry scene. Nobody else is weighing in. This is my biggest challenge these days. I just don't know what you guys want to work on in terms of major projects, because nobody speaks up. So I go with that, but then that's not what people really want. So I'm in such a quandary because I ask and I just don't get much feedback. Now, in terms of most of the stuff that we will be doing on the live shows and stuff, I'm going to be doing some things that are very similar to what I used to do with the 12 projects of Christmas. They're small, quick, easy, whether they're decor items or small, quick gift items, that sort of thing. That's what we're going to be doing here on the live shows up until Christmas. I'm talking about major projects that we do, that I do the videos and stuff for, and once that goes up, the pattern videos and kits will be ready to go when I put them up. And so kits would ship out very quickly afterwards, and I mean, I'm literally talking a handful, like 6 kits. I'm not gonna do a bunch of them. If we end up doing a wintry version, I may end up doing more, just because then it's not so super critical of getting done in time for the holiday. So we'll have to see on that. We've got, yeah, Christine, I greatly appreciate. Christine says she likes to try to keep the chat going. We just don't have a lot of people chatting these days. I also, I'm wondering if morning doesn't, mornings, if those are better, because we have a pretty small group here right now. So I don't know if mornings are a better time for a greater number of people than the afternoons on the Wednesdays. So anyway, there's so just those 2 simple cut aparts, and that just makes a really cute, you know, you don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff, but it would be cute to have a couple of presents. Those you can buy, they're like 1-inch kind of square presents kind of thing. They're all wrapped and they got a little gold cord on them. I'm wishing I had a couple of them, but I'm looking around and seeing if I see somewhere in all of my baskets, and I'm not seeing them. I know where they are downstairs, but I can add those on and show those to you during the next class. So do you guys, well, even if it's not necessarily kits, you know, I would prefer, you know, it's way easier for me to have electronically delivered stuff. So, I mean, do you guys just want, because it's about the projects too, Candy. It's just not whether or not people are going to buy kits, because if I'm only doing half a dozen kits, that's not very many. But if people are wanting, do you like patterns with the digital paper? And then I don't even have to do kits, because then you don't have to wait around to see if, you know, if I'm ever going to ship it, because I know there's some of you who don't believe I'm shipping anything, but I am. But I'm just, do you guys like the digital type of kits where you get the pattern and the paper and that sort of thing? Or do you want, that's my problem, is I don't know if people want kits or if they want digital stuff, or just what they want. Now, doing the little projects like where I'm doing for Christmas is awesome, and I don't mind doing those. But I also need to still have some things that I have available for purchase, so that I can keep doing this. So anyway, I just could use a little bit of just some feedback on what kinds of things that people want. Do you want albums? Do you want 3D? That sort of thing. So I'm in such a quandary because I just don't get the feedback from everybody. And then when I put a bunch of time and effort into something, and then people don't seem to really be interested in that. So I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to invest a lot of my time, and I can't find my lid to my glue. If that's not the kinds of things that you want. So it's just I'm in a quandary as to what to do. Okay. Where did my glue lid go? Just making sure it's not stuck behind something. Alright, well, it's probably somewhere like on the floor. Well, I'll find it eventually. So, anyway, so these two go together. And then this is part of the break group there, so that way you guys can see, and I'm not sitting there staring at them myself. I did just do the double envelope album, or I'm in process of doing the double envelope album. This is one that we've been working on here in class. It's done with envelopes and stuff, so I haven't gotten any further in it, but yeah, that's done with envelopes. I have another envelope thing coming up that will probably be part of the Christmas stuff that I have coming up. Yeah, I love doing the digital because it's instant. You don't have it's tons less for me to I don't have to assemble the kits and get those shipped, and it's a lot less pressure when I've got other things that I'm trying to, some other still backlog things that I'm trying to get done. So obviously the digital is highly preferred for me, but I also know some people aren't comfortable with the digital and printing themselves. Well, Diana, yes, majority of my albums are interactive albums. It's more a case of, do people want the 3D projects, which 90% of the time include an album, or do you want just albums? And those are usually much more involved albums. So, I mean, that's where it's more the question that comes up is whether you want the more involved albums, or do you want the 3D with a little bit more simple albums? Because if we have a complicated 3D project, I don't want to do a super complicated album along with it, because it just becomes more than a lot of people want to spend time-wise on any one specific project. I'm just trying to get a sense of what people are interested in doing, and then are you okay with the digital, and then you gather the other materials like the chipboard and stuff yourself versus doing kits? I mean, things have evolved. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, I used to crank out so many kits. It was a lot of work, but people just don't seem as interested in kits any longer, and so I'm just trying to find, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to spend a lot of time on something that people don't necessarily want to work on. So I'm kind of just in a real, I want to use time wisely and efficiently. I mean, that's why I've kind of been trying to go a little bit more into the mixed media stuff, because to be perfectly honest, I can do something that's very simple construction, and then the mixed media part really is not time involved, but it looks like it is. Like the recent reverse canvases that we did. If you really think about it, we did those in 2 classes. So that was like 4 hours worth of time. So it really isn't a huge time investment in those, but that makes it a lot more, looks like it is. So it's just on in terms of I just, as I said, I just want to use my time efficiently to do the kinds of projects that people want to work on. Well, Christine, that's kind of where my thought is, but I just wanted to make sure that's where other people's thoughts are on that as well. Especially if some of the embellishments I'm using are stuff that's readily available. Or as I did on one of the projects previously, is I did the digital stuff, and then I just had embellishment packs that had a lot of, and then you could choose to get the embellishment pack or not. So they weren't full-blown kits that had, has a digital paper, but it has all the chipboard, all of the acrylic, all of the everything, plus the embellishments. Because if I do just embellishment packs, they're a lot less involved, a lot cheaper to be shipping, that sort of thing. And then those people who want to do find their own embellishments could do so. That's kind of the direction I'm thinking at this point. And Diana, in terms of the Wednesdays, sometimes I do them in the morning, and sometimes, like today, they're in the afternoon. It is always a good idea to check over on the website under the schedule to see exactly what time I am coming on. It's either in 10 o'clock in the morning West Coast time, or it's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, I'm in Seattle area, so it's on Pacific time. So it's either 10 in the morning or it's at 3 in the afternoon. Okay, that's kind of where my thought was, Christine. Now, we don't have a lot of people here, and we don't have a lot of people commenting. So it's a case of just trying to figure out what it is that people are wanting to do. So we'll figure it out from there. This is not a subject I intended to go into today, so we'll see how it all comes together. So, but I'll keep it figuring it out on what I want to do with that. So. And it's as when I started switching my live classes over recently to the quick projects. This one is a little bit different in that because it's a Christmas project, I went ahead and slipped it in onto our live shows. On the live shows, I'm trying to do those as more demos and quick and fast things, and then I'm going straight to video, and I've got a whole bunch of videos that I've just got to do some tweaking and stuff to. But I'm doing then the major projects are the videos, and I'm trying to get it to where in upcoming projects the videos are complete when I put the pattern and the digital stuff up, so you can work on it immediately. You're not having to wait for parts and pieces to get completed, but that they'll be immediate and ready to go. And that's kind of what the plan is going forward. So Wednesdays are going to be more demos and quick and easy stuff. This one is just slipping in as something a little bit different, just because it fit with the time frame for this Wednesday, next Wednesday, so this gets another project ticked off the list of things that needed to get done. So it was a great way to do that. But moving forward, after next Wednesday, there'll be kind of the 12 projects of Christmas-esque type things. So up until the holidays. And I'm still deciding whether or not we're going to do a New Year's Day We did New Year's Eve years and years ago when my kids were still little, but and now that they're off and doing their own thing on New Year's Eve, I don't know, maybe we should do a New Year's Eve again. But I think New Year's Day worked a lot better for everybody. So, well, if I'm going to do a New Year's again, it probably would be on New Year's Day itself. Yeah, I was trying to take the pressure off of the live classes, and then just doing that way too on the major projects and stuff, rather than it being with all the chit chat and all that kind of stuff in the videos. Is taking that to where then it's the videos that all I'm doing is walking through the project on the videos, so that you don't have to fast forward through all the chatter and stuff. Alrighty, yeah. Then the other thing too is I'm hoping in 2020 not only I'm going to be teaching in Canada, in Calgary in June, middle of June, but I'm also looking for in the fall trying to do an event as well, the live event that we had talked about potentially doing this year. But just I just have too many outstanding stuff, but we're getting so close to getting all that stuff all caught up. I'm just super excited to have that. But so I'm looking forward to doing some live classes again. So again, I'll be in Calgary in June, and then I will be hoping for towards September possibly, and I'm looking at closer to the East Coast, Midwest to East Coast at this point. So. Oh, the envelope pocket thing. That was actually, I was waiting. There was construction, and I got stuck waiting while they were just letting one lane go through one way and the other way. And I had an envelope in the car and designed it in the car. I still have the envelopes and all that stuff. It's pretty funny. So yeah, that was a long time ago. It was 10 years ago. I will keep everybody posted in terms of I'm going to be teaching at the Paper and Ink Boutique in Calgary. It's a delightful shop. I wish they were closer. I would go there all the time. She carries all these products that I cannot find here in the Seattle area at all. So I'm super excited about coming up and teaching for a weekend there. I'm trying to justify spending the money and going to a Seth Apter class up in Vancouver this weekend, and I'm having a hard time. I don't really want to spend. I want to go so badly, but it's like spending the money is hard for me. So, but I may this weekend, probably on Saturday, go to a Seth Apter class. So. Obviously learn some new goodies and stuff and do my own thing with them and stuff. So the store name in Calgary is Paper and Ink Boutique. Delightful people. I when we were in Calgary this past summer, the one thing I asked my husband and daughter to do was I just wanted to stop at this one shop and check it out. So we went in there and okay, my brain just totally went on hold. His name. Oh, I'm so bad with names. Oh, I can't remember his name. I feel horrible. I can picture his face. I can hear his voice in my head. He was teaching up there, and so he actually remembered me and recognized me, and I about fell over. And so we just got chatting then, and the store owner then talked about wanting me to come up and teach this next summer. So, and we've just been kind of occasionally chatting back and forth. And Ken Oliver, yes, thank you, Joy. Joy saves my life once again. Yes, Julia is the owner, and but Ken Oliver was teaching there at the time, and so got to chatting. I was fangirling all over him. It was pretty bad, and he knew exactly who I was and what I'd been doing, and it was just, which made me just kind of faint myself. So he's so nice. He is genuinely super, super, super nice. So, but yeah, so I'm super, super stoked. I always love going up into Canada. I've decided Canadians are really, truly the nicest people. So, and Calgary areas, I love it. Sarah and I might drive up rather than flying up. So that'll be fun too. We had such a great trip last summer, but about the same time too. So, but now I just have to decide what I want to do this weekend. There's still openings available, so it's like I really, 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 I would love to take a Southampton class. So I'm just I don't know what to do, but we'll figure it out. So if I do go, I will definitely keep you guys all posted. So, and because I'm also the reason I'm hesitating is I really want to go to CHA in January this year, and it's like so we shall see as to which one I can do. It's kind of like one or the other, but I'm not sure I can do both. So we shall see. Anyway, alrighty, guys. But anyway, you can getting a feel for the houses. Whoops, the roof back on this one. But so you can see how they vary in kind of size and height. Oh, I go in there. So there you can see how the height varies on all of these, but and it's fun just having that little shadow box thing at the bottom, and fun to do these little shadow boxes. So I like them actually. Like this one, I like keeping it simple. This one I might add a little more foo-foo stuff. Maybe I have some more little greenery things, and maybe I'll put some of that in there, some of those little toys. So maybe the traditional one I'll have a little bit more filled, and keep the bright version a little bit more simple in keeping. These are a lot more detailed cut aparts, and whereas these are a little simpler. So the lid next to the right, the cap. Oh, there it is. Oh, thank you. Good eyes, Alexa. Good job. I was like, what is she talking about? So she spotted it. Yeah, you could see it in the video there. And then I grabbed it. There we go. Oh gosh, the delay is a long delay. Oh my goodness, very long delay. So anyway, this has been. We're going to be a little bit shorter time today, just because this took less time than I anticipated. But next Wednesday we will be doing. The other two houses, 4 and 5, and I may have a couple of, so I maybe have like some of these houses set up with the bright version, so that I'll have both versions relatively complete then. So I'll probably have a few more of the houses done and ready to go in the other version. So maybe we embellish more than just 4 and 5. We can embellish maybe this guy of the traditional version, or this guy out of, so we'll have maybe 3 or 4 to embellish on next Wednesday. So, but again, the cutting guide and supply list is complete for all 5 houses. I will have the video up tomorrow for constructing. The video for this house is already up, and a lot of you may have that one done, but I'll have the video up for the other 4 houses. And the paper collections with the cut aparts and the doors and windows are complete and already available. If you're not, finding it, I did a quick check and it looked like it was in, but if it somehow didn't make it into your account and you ordered it, drop me an email and I will make sure to get that it gets into your account so that you can get those downloaded. So, alrighty, guys. Again, thank you as always to, I hate saying goodbye to my hands. So, as always, thank you to Joy and Lois for helping me out. doing moderating for me. I greatly appreciate it, and also for all of you who have joined me here. And welcome back to some of you, like Diana. Welcome back. I'm glad you were able to find us. And yes, I will be on every Wednesday. And you can also watch my schedule, because on occasion I do put some extra classes in, especially as we come up on the holidays. I may end up doing some extra ones in there if I decide to go ahead and do it, the 12 projects. I probably have 6 figured out so far, so we'll see how it all shakes out. So oh yeah, so trees that's across the road, up the hill. My backyard goes up to a steep hill, and then there's trees. We get deer over there in the trees, and that's actually across the road. So but it's nice having the trees looking outside. So very northwest. Alrighty, and this video will be here, obviously if you're watching it later here on YouTube, but I also put it up in the schedule over on my website. So if you click on the schedule on the day of a class, the video is there, and I eventually will get them all down in the archives as well. So we don't get much snow here. Knock wood, we don't. Seattle is very, very hilly, and when it snows, it's not pleasant. It's also very wet snow and very slippery. It gets really icy, and people don't know how to drive here, so it's an ugly mess when it snows. So I just assume it not snow. We get snow in the mountains, and that's fine. About an hour drive I can be up to the snow, but I'm perfectly fine not having it here. So we'll just hope that it doesn't. So, oh, Leslie, that's okay. Don't need any. Leslie's in Calgary, and I know they've already had quite a bit of snow. So I grew up in snow. I grew up in Anchorage, where we always had snow. So I just, I can live without it. Thank you very much. As I said, a year ago when I was in New Hampshire and having to clean the snow off of my son's car, I was like, yeah, this is why I don't live where it snows anymore. Alrighty, guys. We will be back again next Wednesday. Thank you again for joining me here in my studio. And again, as always, thank you to Joy and to Lois for all your help. You really honestly don't know how much I count on you guys, and you are the best. So alrighty, guys, so we will see you all. So peace out. Love y'all bunches. Bye for now. I always grab the mouse, and I don't